Hello there, dear friends, and welcome once again to the Relaxed Fantasy Review. Today, we're going to be discussing The Way of the Four Elements Monk. I've already done a review on this subclass a long time ago, and I said that they had one feature. That feature was that they learned elemental disciplines, which allowed them to do magic-like things using their key points. And I slammed it pretty hard because it's one of the worst monk subclasses out there. But I should be fair. There's some people who would probably enjoy playing a four elements monk. The idea of bending the elements to your will is a fun concept. And if you're playing a mid-level monk, you can use your key powers several times. And then if you can get a good amount of short rests, it's probably not actually that weak. So I gave it another look, and I had a look at the elemental disciplines that don't have level restrictions to them, and I made myself a top 5 list. So here it is. If you are going to play a 4 elements monk, and you need help at 3rd level choosing your elemental disciplines, these are my recommendations for ones that are actually not bad. Before we get started, I'd like to let you know that Relaxed Fantasy Review has memberships for just $1 a month. You can support my channel here on YouTube. You get a little badge in your name next to the comments, and you earn my undying gratitude. Thank you for watching, and thank you for supporting me. So, starting with number 5, let's talk about Shape the Flowing River. This is a power that you spend a key point, and you get to choose a mass of water that's up to 30 feet on a side, which is a huge amount of water. That's a house-sized amount of water. And you can shape it and freeze it to your liking. This is basically control water, but a better version of it almost. You can create ramps, you can create structures, you can create barriers. You know, the only thing you can't do with it is harm people or trap people. So no putting water above folks and slamming it down their head. Or creating a dome of ice to, trap people in it. For utility purposes, this is actually really cool. Is it worth a full key point? Yeah, sometimes I'd say so. So this can go in number 5. At number 4, we have the Sweeping Cinder Strike. This costs 2 key points to cast, and it just lets you cast Burning Hands. Burning Hands is a reasonably small spell. It's a 1st level spell that a caster can use to do a fire area of effect. 15-foot cone. Against the dex save, 3d6 damage. It's not awful. I mean, monks don't get AoEs very often. Most of the time they're attacking and flurry of blowsing. For 2 key points, getting a small AoE to take out several enemies at once. Not terrible. I personally would only use this in the event that I could line up at least 3 enemies with a shot, but a monk is a fast and agile combatant, and this is a way to use that to your advantage, so I'll give it points for that. Next, number 3, Rush of the Gale Spirits. This is another 2 key point power, and it allows you to cast the spell Gust of Wind. Now, is Gust of Wind better than Burning Hands? I actually think for a monk, it could be. Gust of Wind is a concentration spell, lasts for a minute, and it allows you to push creatures away from you. They make a strength save, and if they fail it, then they actually get shoved a good distance. I think it's 20 feet away from you. And you can continue to do this every turn. It gives you quite a bit of battlefield control powers. Pushing creatures around, force movement is nice. Gust of Wind is a good way to do that. The monk's not going to be concentrating on anything else, and you don't have to aim it at enemies. You could use it to push some enemies away while you focus your attacks on other ones. So yeah, I'd say this is a nice power for a monk. Again, 2 key points is a lot, especially at 3rd level, but in a fight with a lot of enemies, it could come in handy. Now, as far as the next two, these are my actual recommendations for ones you probably want to use. At number 2 is Water Whip. 2 key points, and you target a creature, a single creature. The creature can be 30 feet away from you. They make a dexterity saving throw, and if they fail it, they take 3d10 damage, which is a lot actually at level 3. Plus, you can either use the whip to knock their feet out from under them so they fall prone, or you can pull them 25 feet towards you. So that is also quite a bit of battlefield control movement against a single enemy. Or you can make them go prone, and you always do the damage. The dexterity save just says they take half damage and don't get moved. So, yeah, that's actually a really cool effect. Like, that's a good damage, a nice movement power or prone power. So yeah, I think Water Whip's actually awesome. It sucks that you have to spend 2 key points to do it, but against like a strong enemy, definitely could see myself doing this. The only one that I would say be better would be Fist of Unbroken Air, the number 1 elemental discipline. It's very similar. You choose an enemy that's within 30 feet of you, and you attack them and they make a strength saving throw. If they fail the save, they also take 3d10 damage, and you can push them 30 feet, which means you could actually get them up to 60 feet away from you, and you knock them prone. See, this is the distinction. Water Whip is a pull effect or knocking someone prone, whereas Fist of Unbroken Air is a push effect and you knock them prone. The strength save's a little trickier than the dex save, but honestly, that's kind of hit or miss depending on what enemies you're fighting. And I'll take movement and prone over movement or prone. This honestly feels like they mixed Rush of Gale Spirits and Water Whip together and just made it one power. It does cost 2 key points, as most of them do, but good damage, good movement, good effects, strength save. I say this is the best thing you're going to get from the 4 Elements Monk at low levels. And yes, you can do stuff like Fireball and Hold Person and even Cone of Cold at the higher levels. And that's all well and good. These are good powers. They don't scale with spellcasters. Full casters will get them earlier. And they cost a large amount of key points when you could be using those for Stunning Strikes and Flurry of Blows and honestly better powers. But if you really want to tap into this fantasy, these are my recommendations for you. And yeah, it's not all bad, you know? Good damage, good effects. It's just expensive to do. And honestly, you can almost compare this to a Warlock in the sense that you only can do this once or twice per short rest, the same way a Warlock would be able to use their spell slots. But then you can't use your base class features afterwards. You're just left with, regular punching. And whereas Warlocks would have Eldritch Blast in their invocations. So, yeah, elemental disciplines, maybe not quite as bad as I thought earlier, but still not my favorite thing. If you're gonna do it, go with Water Whip or Fist of Unbroken Air. You'll be alright. This has been the Relaxed Fantasy Review. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe down below. Have a look for the join button down there, and keep your eyes peeled for more mechanical reviews coming down the line soon. Have a good one, my friends.